Okay, this video is going to be a lot shorter than the other ones because it is so warm, and I put off filming this video for as long as I can, but it is like 10 p.m. on Wednesday, the day before, and I need to film it, and I've turned off all the fans in my room because the sound quality messes up when I don't do that. So now I'm just like burning, but we're getting out this video because we need consistent content. Okay. Day 3. We're talking about day 3. Day 3 is a day with a lot of bullshittery and a lot of kerflufflery, and it makes me very upset. This is the day where people really try to test my patience. So, we start by waking up all bright and early, getting out of our hotel in Jersey, and taking the ferry over to see Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Now, Ellis Island wasn't the most interesting place. I'm just gonna say that outright. I don't really care too much about history, so I didn't really go throughout the museum. Also, it was really hot that day, and it was really early, and there was no Wi-Fi on that island. There was no signal or anything on that island. Also, this day was a Friday, and the night before there was the finale to Drag Race, and I did not have enough time to watch it because I was so tired that night. So I'd watch like the first 30 minutes, and I needed to see who won Drag Race. So I was watching it on the way to the ferry, and then on the ferry, but once you got to Ellis Island, there was no signal to watch the last 10 minutes of Drag Race so I could know who won. And I was like not having it really, because all I really cared about once I stepped off of the bus into the hot blazing sun was I need to know who won Drag Race. So I was just very disconnected and uninterested in Ellis Island. So me and a bunch of my friends, we just sort of got smoothies, and we just sat and charged our phones and waited until we could leave. We drink our smoothies. I find out that Aquaria wins Drag Race. Life is all great. We leave the island, and we are expecting to go to the Statue of Liberty, because that was one of the things that was advertised with this trip. We get to go to the island with the Statue of Liberty, we get to walk up, we get to like be in like the crown, and we get to like see things. And it was supposed to be really cool, and everybody was looking forward to that. But surprise, surprise, like I said in the last video, not everything that you paid for is guaranteed. So we, for some reason, I still don't really know why, didn't get to go up to the Statue of Liberty, which was really annoying. Why did this happen? I was gonna say it's fine. It's not fine. I was very much looking forward to that because the Statue of Liberty is iconic. It's basically the trademark for all of New York, even though it's not technically in New York. It's weird. But it was just very disappointing, especially since we were going from Ellis Island to Manhattan, and to get there you have to go to the island that the Statue of Liberty is on, and we couldn't even like walk close to it. That made no sense. I really feel like we could have just like walked to where the base is, or around where the base is, and like taken photos, because we were on that island. But we didn't for some reason. We just got back on the ferry and shipped ourselves all the way to Manhattan. So that was fun. Then once we get to Manhattan, we go to Wall Street, which was really boring because I don't know anything about Wall Street except that it has to do with stocks, and they didn't really explain anything. And that day, this is when the heat wave really started to kick in, so it was like burning. So any second we were outside was kind of like we're melting, like right now. So it wasn't the funnest time. And they were just sort of talking about how, you know, business people work here. And I'm like, cool, we love the 1%. It wasn't like the most interesting thing when you have no like stake in the stock business or any care about business things, because we are artsy people. But we went to this cool like cemetery church place where Alexander Hamilton is buried, and a bunch of kids freaked out because they're like, oh my god, Hamilton. I have not seen Hamilton, nor have I listened to the soundtrack because I want to see the show first, so I didn't care. But there was a cool street sign that was like the cross of Broadway and Wall Street, and that looked cool. After Wall Street, we all go to this area like with a bunch of like food carts, and it's like close to the 9/11 memorial because we're going there after lunch. And our tour guide like left all the groups there after giving like a long 30-minute speech like he does about all the places we can go eat, and I'm like, we have Google Maps, please stop talking. On the walk there, me and one of my friends who really likes Marvel, I like Marvel, I'm not as invested in Marvel as she is. I was like talking about the Avengers Tower because I don't really know anything about Marvel, but I really do love it. I know that that makes no sense, but I do. And I was like, is the Avengers Tower anywhere around here, like where it's based? And then she said, no, we passed it when we first drove in here from the airport. And I was like, God damn it. But then she brought up, because we were around all these food carts, how she was thinking about at the end of one of the Avengers movies, I don't know which one, I've never seen it, but they were talking about going to eat shawarmas. And I don't know what, like, snapped in my head. But that like really set me off, and I was like, I need to have shawarmas, because I love Marvel, I love the Avengers, and I'm like, we are in New York, this is their place, and you know what I want for lunch now? I want shawarmas. And I was very dead set on having shawarmas. I was not gonna have anything else for lunch that day. I don't know why I was so adamant about having it. I don't know why I was so stubborn with it, but I really was. And I think it was just like, I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm like a free spirit whenever someone tries to control me. I'm like, bitch, you thought. So when people were like, oh, you can't have shawarmas, I was like, haha, bitch, you thought. Yes, I am. So it was like a mixture of, I really want shawarmas because I've never had them before, and I really want to try something new, because New York was all about trying new things. And I wanted shawarmas, I wanted to like be connected to the Avengers, I wanted an adventure, and I don't like being controlled, so I was gonna have a shawarma that day. So once our tour guide leaves all the groups to this wonderful area with a bunch of well-priced food options that we can eat, our teacher takes us, and because of our debacle the day before with lunch, where everybody got lost trying to get back to the workshop, and it made us late even though we were only like 2 minutes late. It's fine. Our teacher decided it would be a great idea for all of us to have lunch as a group in a set location so that we wouldn't get lost. And I don't like a lot of, not a lot, I don't like a handful, like 3 or 4 people who were in our group with us. So I did not want to have lunch with them. And because after lunch we were going to go to the 9/11 memorial, so we wanted to be in the area, we decided to go to the Oculus. I say we. Our teacher decided we were going to go to the Oculus because when she went to New York in January, like on like the teacher summit where all the teachers went together so that they can like help the children when they all go on the trip together, she went here and she was like, oh, there's great food here. And spoiler alert, she had no idea where the fucking food was. Our teacher takes us and is like, we're all gonna walk to the Oculus. It's gonna be so cool, and there's so many food options to eat there. And then we walk through the blazing sun, and apparently there was some sort of like church or cathedral something around the area that people wanted to go see. And by people, I think it was just our teacher and our chaperone, because when we were walking to the Oculus, she was like, so should we go see like the church first or should we get food first? And everybody was like, food! We are so hungry, because we had been out for like maybe like 3 or 4 hours at this point, and like that doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's blazing hot and you are walking everywhere, you want food. So I was also very much done because I was very hungry. Everybody be testing my patience. No Statue of Liberty, the hot sun, people trying to restrict where I get to eat and making me hang out with people I do not want to see, you know. And now I'm hungry on top of all this. I'm a hangry person. When I get hungry, I'm not a pleasant person to be around. So my patience was already like almost at 0. But we get to the Oculus. It's wonderful. It's air conditioned. But we step inside, like I guess it's cool, but it's also really not cool, because whenever they described it, they said it looked like a dinosaur bone. I don't know what dinosaurs they're looking at, because that does not look like a dinosaur bone. It looks more like a fish bone. Like, it just looks like the ribs of a fish. It's not that interesting, especially when next to it there was this really cool building that we had no time to look at, but it was like beautifully painted, and I have no idea what it is to this day, and it makes me very angry because I'm like, I care about what that is, not this stupid fish thing. But we get inside. The second we step in there, I am like, I want to go eat shawarmas. And at this point, I had already like Google mapped where all the shawarma places are, because I'm like, I'm going to eat shawarma. No one gets to tell me what to do. So I already knew where all the shawarma places were. I knew that none of them were inside, so I was sort of like done being here. I just wanted to get to the point where they were like, go have lunch, so I can just figure out what my plan of attack was to get my shawarmas, because I was very hungry and very much not having anything. But our teacher, wanting to like have a great like group photo, was like, here, right at the front of the Oculus. I don't have the photo because I don't want the photo. She was like, we're gonna have a group photo, and it was the most annoying thing ever, because I, 1, don't want to take a photo with all these people, 2, I'm very hungry, and 3, I want food right now. And we did not have a lot of time for this. We had 2 hours for lunch, which means you have to go get your food, pay for your food, eat your food, and get back all in 2 hours. And that seems like a lot of time, but it's not. especially when right after the photo, our teacher has to walk us through the whole Oculus to get to the food area. And it took us like a good 30 to 45 minutes because she had no fucking idea where it was. And it made me so angry because she has no sense of direction at all. And I'm like, you understand that you're cutting into our time that we need to eat. Like, I don't think you understand this. Like, first of all, wasted our time with this stupid group photo. And then you drag us through this whole like shopping area for us to not even look at any of the shops because they're way too expensive and we don't have the time to go to this food court that you have no idea where it is. And we had to like ask multiple people where we were going. And it made me so angry because I'm like, why are we here if you don't know where we're going? But after like a 15-minute walk, because it was honestly that far, I'll put like a Google map thing right here. It's really fucking far. We get to the food area where there are no good options. And our teacher was like, okay, we're all gonna meet back here in 1 hour. And I'm like, okay, haha, fun. And then I look at all the food places. First of all, none of them have shawarmas. So that was already a big no on my list. Second of all, they were all outrageously overpriced. And I don't think our teacher understood that. Like, $20 I think was like the lowest price point for any of like the meals there. Not even like a meal, like you could have like a small appetizer for probably less, but like if you wanted to eat lunch, it was at least $20. And like, we don't have that kind of money. I don't think she understands that. Like, first of all, you cannot force us to eat somewhere that we don't want to eat and then make us pay for it. Like, I don't get where the logic is coming in there. That made no sense. Like, it's my money. I'm going to spend it where I want to spend it. So, and like multiple times when we were like walking from the Oculus to the food area, I was like, so like, do we have to eat here? Because I was very much not having to eat there. She was like, I would prefer if you do, yes. It was never like a you have to, because I think she's trying to pull the whole like teacher mom thing where it's like, I'm not gonna say no because if I say no then you're just gonna rebel. But I rebelled anyways because I'm not having that shit. Like, you're not gonna force me to eat somewhere I don't want to eat. Like, if there's no shawarmas there, I guess I'm not eating lunch. To circumvent all of this, I basically just like pulled rank, is that what you call it? When you go above someone's head, and I texted my mom. Because really, who has the final say? My mother does. So I texted my mom and I was like, my teacher's not letting us leave for lunch from the stupid area with no food that I want and nothing I want to pay for. I know the place that I want to go. Can I leave and disobey her orders? And my mom was like, yes, but as long as you don't go alone. And I was like, deal. So I took my friend. Like, bless her. Like, truly, she was very much willing to just like set aside the shawarma thing. She was not as set on it as I was. She was fine getting like other food, but like the fact that she like broke the rules with me to go with me to get that food, that's like, what a good friend. So we left. It really wasn't that hard to leave because like when the chaperone and the teacher just like walked away, we just left the building. And then I Google mapped us to the shawarma place. I got the shawarmas. They were delicious. We got back in an hour and ate all the food and it was so good. I was so happy with that decision. One, because we got the freedom to like basically roam around New York for a little bit and that was so nice. Two, we got really good food. Like, they were so delicious. Like, I've tried to get shawarmas back here at home and they're like in no comparison to the food in New York. Food in New York is so good. Like, their shawarmas were so delicious and it wasn't outrageously expensive. Like, I got a whole meal for I'm pretty sure like under $20. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. We come back to this food court area and we sit down, we eat our food, and then we get up to leave because we have to go to the 9/11 memorial. And as we're walking out of the food court area shopping mall, we're trying to find a Starbucks because we want to refill our water bottles because it's so hot and we have no water. And there was like no Starbucks in sight, and that made no sense. It confused me so much. After not finding any Starbucks, we're about to leave the building, and then we see across the street there's a Burger King. And one of my friends in like our group of 6 really wanted Burger King because we saw it in like that main like food cart stand area that our tour guide left us at. She saw Burger King. She was like, I just want a Burger King. Like, she wanted like cheap and easy food, but then she had to like pay for $20 sushi. She was mad about it for like the whole trip. And then as we're about to leave, we see the Burger King was right there and she was so angry. I'm pretty sure also that the teacher and chaperone knew that me and my friend left, but like, what were they gonna say? We're back. in time. Like, I don't know what they were gonna do about it. So we leave, we go to the 9/11 memorial because we were supposed to meet up with the whole group, like where they left us with all like the food carts, but for some reason our teacher was like, oh, we're just gonna meet them later. So we get to the 9/11 memorial like 20 minutes before all of them, and there is no water except for this weird, it did not look like it was made by the city. It looked like someone just made some sort of water fountain in the ground. I have no idea how that happened, but there was a water fountain in the middle of the park of the like memorial, and we got water there, so that was great. It was not cold, which was not great, but beggars cannot be choosers. So at this point we had already been walking for like a very long time through the Oculus, around Ellis Island, like all of that, to Wall Street. Like, we've been walking around a lot, so my feet were not really having it, especially since the day before I wore heels, so my feet weren't doing the best. So when our tour guide finally got there and pulled his grand old trick of let's stand outside in the burning heat for like 45 minutes while I lecture at you, it wasn't the best, because we had to stand outside for like 45 minutes while our tour guide told us like the whole history of 9/11, and like it was not enjoyable, you know? After that we have to go into this museum, which is huge, much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And when we were going into the museum, our tour guide said that tour groups have to like give them their backpacks because they don't want big backpacks walking around. And I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. But then when we got in there, they said that it was fine for us to have our backpacks, but then literally like an hour later, me and my friends were walking around and they're like, you can have backpacks in here. And I'm like, our tour guide said we could. That was very annoying. That was very stupid. We walked around a lot. Me and a few of my friends, we went to go see like a documentary thing about it. Then after that, I sort of just like walked away from them because I don't know what they were doing. I'm a very solitary person. I like to do things by myself. So I just walked around the museum. It was sad. No one wants to like think about sad things. So that wasn't fun. Then after we went to the memorial, we took the subway. I don't know why this was on our like agenda as like a fun sightseeing thing for New York, because the subways are fucking nasty. I don't know why they thought that would be like a fun thing for kids to do, but we went on the subway and we took one stop to go to Chinatown, which was cool. I don't know. The subway just is like any subway. I took the subway in LA. It's like the exact same thing. We get off in Chinatown. We like all stand on this like street corner again, just standing outside talking for like 30 minutes because this is when we're going off for dinner, and this is the one time where they didn't plan dinner in advance and they decided to give us all $15 for dinner, which makes no sense. Like, in what world can you get dinner for $15, especially in New York? You could get somewhere around $15, but $15 for dinner is not enough food. And at this point, our tour guide was very much done with us. We were very much done with our tour guide because when we were in Chinatown was the closest place we were ever going to be to the courthouse. And my friend absolutely loves Olivia Benson. She loves Law and Order. So she was so set on going to the courthouse. She was set on going to the courthouse like I was set on getting shawarma. She was like going there, and she had already mapped it out. She knew where she was going. So like in the middle of our tour guide's speech of like, you can go eat here, you can go eat here, all these places are good food, we just sort of left because we already knew where we were going to go. Like, we already knew what we wanted to do. So once my friend started walking away, I was like, I'm following her. I'm already not having what he's saying, because we were in Chinatown, so he was like recommending a bunch of like Chinese places to eat, and New York's not known for their Chinese food. So I'm just gonna trust my instincts and say, you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm not gonna eat Chinese food here. So I did it. So we go to the court. My friend is extremely excited. She is like so happy. It's truly the happiest I've ever seen her when she's at the court. She takes a bunch of photos. She lives her best life. And then we go off to have dinner. And at this point, one of the guys in our group of friends is like, this is where he starts to take a decline, because he's already sort of not that tolerable. Like, on a good day, I already don't really like him, but I don't know exactly what happened. But from what I understand, he was given like a certain amount of money to go to New York like a few like days or weeks like prior to when we actually left, and he didn't understand that that was all of his New York money, so he had spent a lot of it before he went to New York. So when he got there, he was like, oh, I have no money. And there was a thing with his bank where like the money doesn't transfer like automatically, like it takes a day. So he was like left this whole day without money, and he was really not in the best mood. And I don't know if he eventually got his money transferred, but at the very least that day, and it seemed like for the rest of the trip, he was not in a good mood. So he wasn't the most pleasant to be around. And it was already showing when we went to the court. He was being quiet and like snippy like an asshole. I did not like him. So when we're going to go find places to eat, because I recommended Italian, because I'm like, Little Italy was like right next to Chinatown, so like why won't we go there and get like good Italian food? So we start walking around Little Italy, the place that I mapped us to. People were like, that's too expensive. We walk a little bit more and then we find a place that's like not as expensive, and we all decide to go in there, except one of the guys in our group. Like this is like the group of 6 of us that have like gone to the courthouse and now gone to eat dinner. Like our group of 6, like the one of the guys in there that like doesn't have any money is being an asshole and is like trying to do that whole I'm not actually bad, I'm just going to like brave face it, like whatever, and like no we can go, when he's like really not okay with going. So the other guy in our group takes one for the team and is like, no dude, I don't want to eat here, we're just gonna go like eat at McDonald's, and he like takes him away so like the 4 of us can go eat. Like that's a team player right there. What a good friend. So the 4 of us, we go into this wonderful restaurant. I'm putting like their name on the screen right now because I don't remember what it is, but their food is so delicious. I ordered lobster ravioli and it was so good, and it was under $20, and it was just delicious. It was like the best meal that I had chosen. Like out of all the times we got to choose where we wanted to eat, this place was the best meal. I like had the most delicious lobster ravioli for under $20, and it was so good. That was just like a delicious meal. It also had like a beautiful ambiance. It looked like if Olive Garden actually knew what they were doing. This restaurant like looked beautiful. So like literally the interior design was so gorgeous. It was a wonderful meal. I got to like talk with my friends. It was just so lovely. And like Little Italy is beautiful. I don't know if this is just a summer thing that they do or an all the time thing, but there were like no cars there because they block off the roads for cars. I don't know how they do that, but I loved it because being able to just like walk past all these like restaurants and shops and have like the middle of the road is so nice. And like as you're just walking, there are like people outside each of the restaurants to like accost you and be like, come eat at our restaurant, which is how we ended up here. It was so cool. I really love Little Italy. I'm so sad that we didn't have more time to spend there because that place was so fun. But then after dinner, we go shopping for a little bit. We go into a Bank of America that we thought was the Bank of America from Spider-Man. Surprise, it was not, but it looks a lot like it. We got some money to go shopping. I bought some wonderful t-shirts. If you want to see it, check out the haul. The haul's over here. And then that was the end of the day, and it was a really lovely end because I got delicious food. I got to go shopping finally, just like on my own, and we had that like little nice freedom moment where we were just like, we can do what we want. It was lovely. It was fun. And when we went shopping, we got to go to this like nice little pastry place that had like bubble tea smoothie dessert things. They were delicious. It was just like a nice fun like half an hour that I got to just like hang out with my friends in New York. That was lovely. But yeah, that's the end of day 3. This video was a lot longer than I thought. I'm very much like not having it. It's very hot in this room. I feel like overall this day was my favorite day, mostly just because of that dinner and being able to just like hang out with my friends and go shopping. Like this day doesn't have my favorite moment. That one comes on day 5. Still, this day was like definitely my favorite day. It was so fun. If you want to see it, check out the haul. Left. It's this quarter.